yeah, it's good to be in the game. And for me, it's just like thinking about the kids, and you know, I got a lot of questions last year. Hey, why aren't you in the game? So, but I'm not gonna go into detail on all that, on that part of it. But it's always cool. I mean, when you grow up and you're playing the games and you see yourself, or you know, I remember being those guys or the little kids, and just playing as Ricky Carmichael or James Stewart or whoever it was. So. Kind of cool to be in the game.
So we have Jason Weigandt here on the other end of an interview.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
Right.
And as I come to learn, your first time playing a video game?
Yeah, not since Xbox. Yeah, never. I think I stopped at Sega Genesis, so that's about 20 years. And judging by the performance, it'd be about as good as not riding a motorcycle for 20 years and then getting on a Supercross track. It's ugly right now. But I am in shock, actually, that this exists and it has this level of detail compared to the video games that I was playing back in the day. Yeah, so for me, my wife said, it's fine. You can go to the races and you can ride your dirt bike. But video games of the races on a dirt bike, during the limited time that you're at home, she's putting the brakes on that. But I've got news. My son's 4. We're on our way.
It's time to start him in the video
to
games.
be able to start playing video games, and then I'm in. We don't even need
so
to
is the game father approved?
This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. Yes, it absolutely is. Like, I'm having a tough time not wanting to just keep doing this for hours. Like, the struggle always for these games, and this is even just by looking at them, is to try to take the really complex physics of a motocross bike. It's not, I feel like you can make car racing fairly realistic fairly easily.
So I think one of the struggles companies like this have making a game like this is truly capturing the difficulty of riding a bike. But at the same time, making it easy enough that you can pick up and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think there's even a balance between making it realistic, but throwing a little extra mustard on there and making it spectacular also. I mean, let's be honest, in a video game world, you could jump further, you can go faster, you can crash harder without any consequences. So you could do that, but then how far do you go before it's no longer like the real thing? Yeah, I haven't ever imagined that they could make the actual physics of cornering and jumping seem this realistic. Usually the cornering on these things is not even close.
Right. So you're noticing how you have to slow down for the corners and use the brakes and wait a little bit. And
I know, but one of the biggest challenges is having people standing behind me talking about.
Especially Jeff Emig standing behind.
You would think that you'd be better at this from knowing things about dirt bikes.
You are as bad on the video game at riding a motorcycle as you are in real life.
Hey, is that not the greatest endorsement?
I feel like I'm watching you, not Cole Seeley. I actually feel like it's...
I feel bad for Cole, yes.
It's Jason Weigandt on the CRF 450.
Are you not impressed with the realisticness of the game to know that it's just as bad as I would be in real life? Like, that's the ultimate endorsement of this game.
What are your thoughts on the game so far?
I think it's incredible. You know, I was so excited to be a part of the first one and to see how amazing it turned out. And I thought, boy, how could they make it any better than that? And they far exceeded any expectation I had as to how they were going to step it up even more. It's so realistic. Obviously, I'm no Supercross champion by any stretch, but boy, this thing is really cool.
This game certainly gives you the possibility to feel like one, right?
Oh, there's no doubt about it, and that's a great thing for somebody like me that has an absolute passion for it, but will never be Jason Anderson or Eli Tomac or one of the top stars of the game. You can at least pretend you are, and somewhat get the feel for what it really must be like to race these incredible tracks and do it somewhat skillfully. I got a long way to go, though.
So, Ralph, one thing I thought that was really cool about the first game was your voice in the game, actually. So
it was really cool for me to be a part of it. You know, video games obviously are such a big deal these days, and I like playing video games. Always have. Obviously loved all the racing games. And when I heard this was coming out, I was really hopeful I'd have a chance to be a part of it. And to do that, and then to hear yourself in the game, just like we would do in the stadium on a Saturday night was really neat. And then when they came back with the second one, of course, I wanted to do that again.
So Jordan, what are your thoughts on the game, just in general so far?
I think I need it ASAP because I need to practice. I'm not very good at it. But the first race I got last, 22nd. This race I'm currently 13th. Oh,
it's an improvement.
It is an improvement, and Jason Anderson just went down. So we're moving into 12th. Just stuff Grant.
So Jordan, do you play games kind of in your free time?
Yeah, occasionally. You know, just kind of depends on what the schedule's looking like and stuff. But especially whenever I get tired and I don't want to go out and do anything, I just kind of chill.
Or if it's like a rainy day or something.
Play some video games.
Do you find that it helps your riding at all? I know it's a strange question, but
not really. There's too much kind of like different, you know. Well, in this, it's like you can restart as many times as you want. You can crash, and your guy just gets right back up, you know.
Right.
Where in real life, if you crash like I do in this game a lot, yeah, there's no way I'll make it through the season healthy. So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool, you know, like to go back and race the tracks that I raced last year. It's like I immediately remember, photo finish with Mookie there.
You remember the layouts?
Remember the layout and remember the rhythms I was doing and stuff, so that's pretty cool too.
So how accurate would you say the layouts are?
Yeah, they're pretty spot on. Like this is the only one I've played so far is Minneapolis, but it's pretty spot on, and yeah, all the rhythms I think are kind of the same exact ones that we were doing. It has like the little option lane where we were kind of going inside. The harder line was actually the inside on off, and so yeah, it's even a little bit tougher to get on here.
So I know as a professional rider, riding a dirt bike comes pretty easy to you, and it's kind of like second nature. Do you feel like you get a feeling like that out of the game? Similarly, like you get that sort of experience out of it?
Most things, like for the most part, I can kind of just pick up whatever it is and do it. Like, might not be great at it, but can usually do it pretty good. And yeah, motorcycle games, I mean, I grew up playing all of them growing up, and you know, that's what me and my buddies always did was, you know, do that, and my goal was to, you know, be in a video game one day, and now I am. So that's, you know, that's super cool to be able to get on here and pick myself and play.
Have you seen yourself in the game yet?
Not in this one. No, I haven't. I saw it in the original one.
Were you? Was it pretty close? Do you say?
Yeah, I think it was. It was pretty close. So it was cool, and you know, they were talking to me about it a little bit, and I think they have even some more software that even is a little bit more detailed on how we look and everything, and it's pretty cool.
Me swirling around here, this is actually a lot of what I looked like when I rode Supercross.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, this is when I've got the goggle view on, I keep crashing. It's kind of, it just reminds me of.
So Jeff, we didn't have your voice in the first game. We now have it in the second game. I'm, for one, pumped about that. I think it's a great experience from a fan perspective to hear the actual announcers that race the actual events, or that announce the actual events, also announced in the game. So talk about your inclusion into the second game and kind of how excited you are about that and what you think that adds.
It's always fun, you know. It's Ralph and I obviously have been the voice of Supercross for 12 years together. And so I think for the consumer that's going to bring the whole experience of Monster Energy Supercross, the game, kind of bring it all together here for the second version. It's funny sometimes you're doing the voiceovers and some of the lines that you're reading, right? And then while you're actually doing the work in the studio, you're having to visualize, okay, what would this be like on the track? Not just reading a line, but actually visualizing it.
That's actually an interesting point. So when you're doing it live, you're seeing it happen live.
Yeah.
So when you recorded the voiceovers for this game, was it more or less, here's a line, read it in a voice that you would normally say it in?
But to get the feel for the line and how it should be delivered, it's like kind of, you have to kind of visualize, okay, what would the scenario be for this in real life? Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, the graphics on this game are amazing. It's super fun to play. It's pretty cool that you can go through all of the different riders and the new additions with the trajectory and some of the things that they have to make the game play easier. You know, if you're not, you know, a Supercross person, let's say, I think that the average consumer is really going to love this game. And some of those things that they've done, like with the career mode and things like that, are pretty neat. So I'm sure my 11-year-old son Jagger is going to be all over this, and he'll have it mastered in about 2 seconds, right?